Yes Bank presents Sunday Debate with Arnab Goswami, powered by Ola, Just Dial, and Khushiyan on Kijiye with Lloyd LED TV.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday Debate. On this edition of the Sunday Debate, we have once again keep aside 2 hours to discuss an issue, debate an issue that emerges out of the theme broadly that has been the dominant theme of the week, if not the news story of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, 6 days ago, the Supreme Court created a nationwide uproar when it said that there will be a ban on Diwali crackers in Delhi and NCR. 2 days back, they've clarified that they have not banned crackers, that if you have an existing stockpile of crackers, then you can use that you won't be arrested for bursting crackers. I don't know whether the judgment observations were necessary or the clarifications were necessary. The Honorable Court knows better. But as a result of the firecracker debate of the last 6 days, people across India have started asking a very fundamental question. A question which emerged in Kolkata as well, when Mamata Banerjee dared to tell the Hindu community in Kolkata that they do not have the right to immerse idols of Durga Ma on a day of their choice, that they will be able to do it after Muharram. Everybody asked then, why is nobody speaking against Mamata Banerjee? The entire secular/pseudo-secular lobby was quiet at that point of time. There are others who say that India has become a Hindu fascist country. By making such a statement, they are insulting hundreds of millions of Hindus, declaring themselves as part of a fascist conspiracy. Therefore, it will not be out of place today to place the subject of the debate, however controversial, before all of you today. And it's as direct as can be. Is the Hindu majority in India a soft target? And on one side today, I have with me Ela Smetacek. She's a nature conservationist and an environmentalist. In my panels on the firecracker debate, she has spoken out fearlessly. I've agreed with her on some subjects and disagreed. And to her right is Sabah Naqvi, senior journalist. To Sabah's right is Dr. Tasleem Ahmad Rahmani, president of the Muslim Political Council of India. Now, all this sides, including Vinod Sharma, senior journalist, who I have never been able to agree with anything fundamentally inside the studio. The outside we agree on many subjects. All of them feel that the Hindu majority is not a soft target. And on the right, arguing that the Hindu majority becomes a soft target, I have with me Nupur Sharma of the BJP. She's also an advocate. To her right is Acharya Dr. Vikramaditya, convener of the Vivekananda Seva Sadan. He feels Hindu majority is a soft target. To his right is an advocate of Supreme Court, Monica Arora. And to her right is author, writer, Advaita Kala. We're opening the debate. We'll have an opening round. Any one panelist on either side gets 1 minute to make their opening remarks, 1 minute at the close. My only sincere request is this: agree, disagree, but from one side, any one side, not more than one speaker at a time. That coordination you have to leave to me. Applies to right and left. On this subject, I remain neutral. And I'd like to give one side here, those who feel the Hindu majority is not a target, soft or otherwise, the opening statement. Who'd like to open on this side, please? Any of you.
Let a Hindu speak. I'm quite...
Vinod Sharma, go ahead. 1 minute is yours.
Well, I'm quite proud of being Hindu, though I'm an accidental Hindu. I didn't make an application anywhere to be born a Hindu. And I have a tremendous regard for people who believe in that faith. I am myself an agnostic. Let that be clear. I personally feel that the majority community in our country is not a target. And to suggest that in the context of the Supreme Court judgment amounts to a contempt of court.
I am not suggesting it in the context of a judgment. Vinod Sharma, I make my point clear. Ela was on my program. I welcome the judgment. I say it's a good thing. As a consequence of the judgment and others, there's overall discussion on whether Hindus are a soft target. So, please, please don't threaten me with contempt of court.
No, I'm not threatening you. I'm saying whoever is doing it is in contempt of the court. For the simple reason that the court has gone to great length to explain its judgment. it is said that this will give us a chance to compare the pollution levels in the NCR with the previous year. And this could lead to taking corrective measures in future. Now, the court has not banned any eco-friendly crackers. The court has not banned any crackers that are available with people. It has only banned the sale of crackers. There is another downside to it, which we must discuss, which is how many people will be losing their jobs by virtue of this ban. What kind of money is being lost by the traders who had no prior intimation about this ban. These are the things to be discussed, rather than saying Hindu majority has become a soft target. Majority is not a soft target anywhere in the world. It is the minority which is the target.
That's a presumption.
It is always a minority which is the target.
It's a presumption.
It is always the minority which is the target. I'm very convinced about this. Sir. And with this, I just wrap up by saying that let us not turn this into a Hindu versus the judiciary or the Muslim debate. Mamata Banerjee was wrong in banning that. She's a politician.
Nobody spoke.
You never called me to your program for that because you just wanted a one-sided view.
I said
Mamata Banerjee was wrong when she did that. And she was actually, her action pitted the Muslim community psychologically against the Hindu community. And the best security for minorities in any country is the majority. Is the goodwill of the majority.
But you feel she's secular. I feel that was the most common thing.
Well, I may describe her my way. I may describe you my way. You may just describe me on live TV your way. It's okay. It's your right.
Okay, it's your opening round. So opening round on the right-hand side on why any one of these members of this group can lead the debate on why they feel Hindus are a soft target. Who'd like to open on this side?
Mr. Sharma, I'd like to take you to 1956.
Monica Arora, please, go on.
I'd like to take Mr. Sharma to 1956. When Hindu Code Bill was drafted, it was enacted. At that time, the predominant voice was that we should have a uniform civil code. But while the Hindu laws were being codified, there was touch me not policy towards all the Muslim laws. They did not dare to touch them. Ambedkar ji repeatedly stated, we must have a uniform civil code for everybody. But they could codify the Hindu law. They could reform the Hindu law. They introduced divorce. They introduced only one marriage. More than one marriage was not allowed. But they could not touch the Muslim law. In 1984, when the Honorable Supreme Court in the Shah Banu verdict stated that no, the Muslim woman has a right to maintenance, you saw what happened to the entire polity of India.
No, let her complete her one minute.
They brought about a law and they set aside, they literally overruled the Supreme Court judgment. Yeah. Thereafter, you come to 1990s when they said terrorism has no religion. But what happened in case of Asimanand Pragya Kalnan Purohit? They coined the word Hindu terrorism. Saffron terrorism, and thereafter they planted these people there and they implicated them falsely just to show that no, Hindu terrorism exists. So what I state here is that since independence till today, Hindus have always been a soft target of everybody, be it government, successive Congress governments, be it other people. And if you call them intellectuals and Lutyens Delhi, that is your.
No. Therefore the debate, one of you on one side, please. One of you on one side, any one of you on one side.
Don't you agree that Hindu Code Bill was in favor of Hindus, number one? Number two, we always said that there must be a codification of each and every religious and personal law, including the Muslim personal law. And this, I feel that this is the duty of the government of India as a custodian of each and every citizen to come out with the, if they can codify the Hindu law, why the government did not took the responsibility to codify the Muslim law?
But polygamy in Muslims is prevalent till today.
That's why I said.
It has not even been touched by
That's why I said that like the Hindu Code Bill, the government, it's not the responsibility of the government to come out with a codification.
Taslim Remani, I want to ask to draw you back. Instead of technicalities, let us today speak about what true secularism is. True secularism means that the state is equal to all religions, that no religion is targeted, no religion is vilified, and no religion is singled out unreasonably.
So
are we creating, just as a question, a truly secular atmosphere when the banner bearing the lobby and up and ready to go, which includes Sabha, not in my name for the sake of a minority, but for the majority community, they'll say you can go to the dogs. Is it a display of secularism when there was not one and Sabha did not take part in a single not in my name
How
protest
do you know what I took
when
part?
Mamta Banerjee, because I know, because when Mamta Banerjee put the Durga Puja festival against Muharram, when she played festival politics with Muharram and the Durga Puja, when she put one religion on the back burner and one religion in front, Sabha, tell me which not in my name protest did you carry out? And for this reason, it will be said that the Hindu majority is perennially targeted, especially by people like you. Sabha, go on. No, perennially targeted by people like you.
So first of all, Arnab, your whole thesis that...
No, it's not me versus you, it's them.
Okay, it's you, you've constructed the entire debate. We are just small props, yeah?
No, I'm afraid if you feel that way, I feel sorry.
Voice to that sentiment prevalent
now,
in India.
so let me just answer this. On a serious note, why is it that people feel that Hindus are under attack? I entirely agree that there has been a certain pandering to a certain section of the Muslim community.
There you are.
Not section.
No, can I finish, ma'am?
was banned in
Okay, I'll keep quiet if you allow me.
Monica.
Can I finish?
Yeah, but
when you talk about Muslims, what I have argued repeatedly is that a certain section of the Muslim, the clerical class, has been pandered to. They are the ones who've got everything, and it has created an image as if the state is pandering to an entire community which is falling on every economic indicator. All the data shows us that, yes, there is a male-dominated clerical class which the secular parties do pander to, and there is no doubt about that, which they should not have done. Otherwise, we would not. And I am one.
Secular
No, I'm sorry.
I just have a point,
Sabha, counter.
How secular is the former Prime Minister when he says that the first right of resources in this country would be with the minorities? How secular is a party?
There was a context in which he said
allow me, please, Sabha, please allow me. Then you must have read that 2009 manifesto as well. How secular is a party which specifically says, and mind you, not about all minorities, when it actually only panders to a single minority. Would you call that secular? No, I call that communal. And I'm sorry, Mr. Manoj Sharma, contempt would not be, as an advocate, I can tell you, contempt would not be debating and questioning the Supreme Court's judgment, which thankfully yesterday, since I was present in the court, did not even pay attention to those people who said ban bursting crackers altogether, give directions to the police to ensure that no crackers are burst. Thankfully, Justice Sikri said, I'm not going to get into that. Anybody who has crackers is more than welcome to go and burst them.
True.
The issue entirely is why only during Diwali? Do you forget Shab-e Barat? Do you forget New Year? Do you forget how crackers are burst in Sydney and in US? Do you forget all other barats and wedding processions that happen all through the year? Why only for this period and why only for this duration? Because I'm sorry, time and again, the petitions that come into the court are ridiculous. Why? Because they are being entertained. And I really question, even as an advocate, why is it being done? On 22nd September 2017, a noise pollution matter was being heard. This is right before the Dussehra vacation. And mind you, somebody came in and said, ban Dandiya and Garba because it creates noise pollution. Thankfully, the Chief Justice refused to entertain it. But this is ridiculous. Azan and loudspeakers don't create noise pollution. But playing Dandiya during the Ratha, what?
This is PIA lobby.
Sabha is replying.
I'm not replying because I partly agree with some of the things that you are flagging the manner in which this has been done. He and I would actually have the biggest fight on the panel if you were to leave it to that, because I entirely disagree with the way he articulated things.
Why this is happening? No Dandiya. One second. Let's look at this. Let's sum total. No Dandiya, no Garba. No Durga Puja,
That's not really happening.
No Ganesh Chaturthi,
no Kambala, no Jallikattu,
no Jallikattu, no Diwali crackers.
No Holi, no Diwali.
No. Where you say this? Let me repeat. In parts of Assam. No, 1 second. Let me complete. Let me tell you. The tragic reality in this country is that in parts of Assam, because so many Bangladeshis have entered Assam, they said the weekly holiday is no longer Sunday. The weekly holiday will now be a Friday. I mean, where are we living? Are we in Dubai?
Who is supporting it?
Well, it had happened in. Question of who's supporting it? Who allowed the Bangladeshis to come in? Who allowed the Bangladeshis to take over our country? Who allowed them to come in? Who did the Congress party let them come in? Did Hiteshwar Saikia say there's not a single Bangladeshi in Assam? The question is, okay, I come from one question. Since we are saying this, I want to place an open debate after this. Firstly, some parts of Assam, Friday is now the holiday. In Bengal, you can't have Durga Puja
ridiculous.
immersions. In Delhi, you can't burst crackers.
If the national holiday is a Sunday, it must be
In certain parts, you can't have Garba, you can't have Dandiya.
You're making
Who is allowing it? Who is allowing it?
Even the thought of such discrimination against the Hindu community is unacceptable.
Allowing such kind of
even the thought of such
condemned.
attempted discrimination against the Hindu community, what is their fault? That they are the majority community, and hence they have to be perennially put on the defensive.
I think this the hypocrisy. Just one second, Adara. The hypocrisy is shown when there is a noise pollution matter going on for ages in the court. Ganesh Chaturthi पे बहुत हल्ला मचता है. You should not have those dhols and nagaras. Not a whimper from anybody. Everybody knows there is a case pending in the court. Please allow me. But when Suchitra Krishnamurthy and Sonu Nigam complain that they are loudspeakers, they are early on in the morning.
Listen to the point.
They are being cornered. They are being cornered. Not a voice for them. So the noise during Ganesh Chaturthi is noise. But the noise in a loudspeaker during Azan is not noise. In fact, let's go and corner Sonu Nigam and Suchitra Krishnamurthy. Is this not hypocrisy? I'm sorry. Who spoke up? I have not heard a single voice for Ganesh Chaturthi.
Okay. Now, who's responsible?
How it is hurting the Hindu sentiment?
Okay. You decide. I'll give a full. I'll give a full chance.
Can I say something? Your many points have been raised by the panel that is on the other side.
Very valid points.
Well, first of all, you must make your allegiance clear.
You said that
you seem to be appreciating that argument more than our arguments, but I think that as a moderator,
on the strength
you
of
should
the argument,
you should be factoring in both the arguments. And this is my request to you, Mr. Chairman. No, my first point is that there were certain points raised about the Hindu personal law. And there were certain points raised by my friend from the BJP about the law of contempt. You see, I know that when the judgment is given, I have a right to criticize it without imputing motives.
I'm not talking about the Supreme Court judgment.
Please understand.
You are restricting this.
No, you allowed her to make a clarification. I am responding to that.
You are taking the debate in a direction it isn't meant to go.
No, you want a direction which you will not get away with it, because the direction will be decided by the arguments being proffered here.
So
please
who
understand
is
that.
Please.
Please.
Let's just ask Arnab, who is anti-Hindu? Tell me that. Who are the anti-Hindu?
You are asking me the question.
I
want to know.
The whole what?
I will make it clear to you so that
Let's not interrupt each other.
Can I also come in?
So because you lose the debate if you interrupt each other.
If you're going to interrupt each other, you speak, then I'll speak.
No, I just had a question.
I wanted to say, 1956, you said.
It's going well.
Please understand. You may disagree with that position at that point in time. Those were early years of India's independence, and you know how bloody was the India's independence, And there was perhaps in the wisdom, and that was the Congress party from which many people were, they were the inspiration for many right-wing forces later in this country. Please understand. So you should not be referring to, we can have a separate debate. We can have a dear lady, we can have a separate debate on Muslim personal law and the Hindu personal law. But then your argument seems to be, your argument, you are citing, please understand, I have never felt threatened in this country as a majority Hindu. I have covered the worst of criminal rights in the Muslim majority areas, and I have never felt threatened. You are creating the politics of fear. Who? Please desist from the politics of fear. The politics of fear will destroy this country. Please desist from the politics of fear.
You are taking the country towards the
Who has taken? I am not ruling this country.
You are taking this country.
Tell me what is the social and economic status of Hindu?
What your mentality is? You do not represent my Hindu thought.
Why you are trying?
Each and every person of this country
You
knows that
are
Hindus are always being targeted. Each and every child of this Hindu religion is being targeted.
By what means?
I can prove you this thing. I can prove you this. Just give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. Just you have to understand this thing. Each and every now what is happening? Each and every ritual of the Hindu community is being targeted. Let's talk about
70,000 communal rights. All this go to the sector committee report. See who has been threatened. See who has been threatened. You see, whenever we without PIL, just quoting for two or just quoting 2 or 3 cases, you are saying that the Hindus are being threatened.
We have PIL for different even for
what is the status of minorities in the country?
Just
tell me the status of minorities. Not only Muslims, the Christians, the Sikhs.
To that, I'm sorry.
Who is
okay, Sabha, listen. Sabha, no put. Sabha,
will not sustain yours. I have one point.
Okay, Sabha, no put.
Who is targeting these Hindus?
Importantly,
Hindus are being targeted.
No, 1 second. All these petitions are being filed by whom? Is it Taslim Rahmani who is filing them?
Can I tell you?
Not in my name filing them. Is it citizens of India?
Who is of 6 months age can file a petition?
So is there a conspiracy? I am asking you to, where is the conspiracy?
You file a petition on the
Where is the conspiracy?
You are filing a petition on Jallikattu. You are filing a petition on the water pollution on the Holi. You are filing a petition on the Dandiya. You are filing a petition on the each and every place the Hindus are being targeted.
Silence, gentlemen. One second. Not everyone together.
You are not replying. You are not fighting for such kind of. You have to understand, even the films which are being made, they are targeting Hindus. You have to understand this thing. I am a hardcore Hindu. I am a hardcore Hindu, but I can't raise my voice. I can't raise my voice. Whenever I raise voice, you are basically putting my voice on the back end just by saying this thing. This is secular country. This is a secular country. Even the Hindus have a right to live. Hindus have a right to speak. Are the Hindus not citizens of India? Hindus are also citizens of India. This country is independent for the Hindus also. Each and everything. I want to ask you one thing. Each and everything in this India is being adopted in a halfway.
They are trying to create
when the Muslims are ready to
among the rest of the country.
When the Muslims are ready,
this psychosis is
they are accepting IPC. They are accepting IPC. Why they are not accepting the Uniform Civil Code? No, you have to understand this thing. You are just for your personal entertainment. You are
trying to demoralize them. You are trying to marginalize the 90% cities.
Taslim Rahmani, thank you. Please stop, both of you stop.
You are getting the best thing in this world.
Stop.
Now, highly artificial.
I don't think you should deny anyone.
You know what?
I don't think one should deny anybody their truth, especially in a democratic country. You know, if people are feeling this way, then one must acknowledge it. I view it a little differently. I don't necessarily view it in this communal context. I view it from the point of narrative building. You know, you've seen in the last couple of years the whole minorities under siege narrative vis-a-vis this use of legal means of an ecosystem, of an academic ecosystem, of an intellectual ecosystem, of a media ecosystem that is kind of pushing out these ideas which display this steady kind of behavioral pattern from the time of the British to now, where we haven't been decolonized, where Hindus have been shamed for their belief systems and constantly shamed for their belief systems. And I think that is really the response that you're seeing. So here, when you say who is filing these PILs, I don't think the Hindus are saying I don't think the Hindus are saying I don't think the Hindus are saying that it is the Muslims who are doing it or anyone else is doing it. The Hindus are saying that we are constantly attacked for our belief systems. We have to live in a secular state. We have to live in a secular state, sir. We have to live in a secular state where temple boards have bureaucrats, politicians on them. That is the kind of resentment that is coming to the fore, and you have to recognize grievance wherever it comes from.
I'd like you to understand with an open mind. See, sensitivity must be there. But now it's gone too far, and we are beginning to ask the counter questions. First of all, you can say we ignored it. Now what's happening is the Western media and some Indian turncoats who are constantly abuse India in the Western media for a few dollars, they get paid for it. They portray us as they reduce us a diverse, they reduce a tolerant and a large-hearted population of 1.3 billion into cheap adjectives. Now, let me tell you.
Right.
Let me tell you how the Western media portrays India. One article. India's constitutional values and secular legacy hang in the balance, threatened by those who would turn the country into a theocratic Hindu Rashtra, a state by and for Hindus, where minorities exist as second-class citizens and free thinking is brutally censured. You believe this is true?
Who's the writer?
So can I...
You believe this is true?
Who's this writer?
This is a magazine called New Republic.
No, who's the writer?
I'll tell you the headline. It says India's murderous...
Who's the writer? Indian.
It's one of many.
India's murderous...
Is he an Indian, please?
India's murderous turn from democracy.
I want to know the name of the writer.
I'll tell you another constantly biased...
No, you're just reading out from somewhere and not telling me who's written it.
Another pamphlet where some pseudo-secular Indians like to write articles called The Guardian.
Called The Guardian.
Let me Saba, you've not understood it. You've not understood it. You've not understood it. Let me tell you why you've not understood it.
I have understood exactly.
We'll have a proper debate.
So let's understand.
You are trying to aid and abet the other side.
I find it
This is in print, sir. This is in print. The Hindus who follow a democratic process in this country are constantly caricaturized like this in international media.
The great wise man.
Constantly caricaturized.
That you have taken note of,
The attempt is to caricaturize India into a murderous Hindu.
No, nobody is trying to caricaturize
When
India.
did we become Hindu
I'm sorry.
fascists?
Secondly, I'll tell you one thing, Sabha. When I say Hindus being a soft target, I'll tell you why Hindus being a soft target. If you say Indian Muslims are radicalized and supporters of ISIS, then you will, rightly so, be the first person to object. But the same pseudo-secular lobby completely holds its silence, allow me please, when you're constantly being told you're a bunch of Hindu fascists, you're a Hindu fascist country. We are not. There's a lie. The biggest lie in the world is that we are a Hindu fascist country. The biggest narrative being portrayed outside India is that we are a Hindu fascist country. And Pranab Mukherjee made a good point on this week.
Right.
When he said that people who have not accepted Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of India should accept that it is the mandate of the people of India. Those people who are sulking for 3 years, unhappy that Narendra Modi became Prime Minister, have no right to abuse my religion and then say that the great religion of Hinduism is a fascist religion and we become a fascist country.
How does the Honorable Prime Minister come into this debate? The fact is that he is the Prime Minister of all citizens of India, and our only exhortation to the Prime Minister is that he should be equally concerned about the problems of all citizens.
It is forgotten that he won the biggest mandate in the last 30 years in a democratic election, in a fair and free election, sir. It is forgotten. And those people who support him, this country, because of the so-called majority, is defined as fascist.
No, who is
in publication after publication, because a man that you do not like or do not approve of won a free and fair election. Sir, with the highest mandate.
And you could be asking the wrong, Advaita, you could be asking, I mean, to put it, I'm somebody who's actually interviewed the man many times. I've followed each and every one of his campaigns, so let's get there. So I'm very well aware of the kind of mandate that he wins, and people who don't know that need not lecture me on the importance of a mandate. I don't think India is those words that Arnab read out in that article. I don't think that. Now, when you suggest that there's a narrative of Hindus being persecuted, it is part of a completely false reality which you want to create in your imagination. The idea, no, let me finish, if you would allow me to finish. The idea that we are somehow the majority is under attack is a very classic idea when people do not want those at the margins to have any share of what comes from government. Currently, you have a situation where there are no Muslim MPs, hardly any. The BJP doesn't give tickets. The BJP doesn't give tickets to them. People are out of job. They don't give tickets.
No,
they don't. I will tell you where they do.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we could always use a fake image of a Gujarat riot for a Bengal event. We can always do that.
Again, you're building the narrative about the Hindus being the dominant party, dominant group in India.
I'll tell you where the BJP gave tickets.
If you're talking about images, you worked in Outlook, right?
You're talking about a ruling.
Please allow me.
I don't work there any longer.
Outlook uses a picture of Assam or Darjeeling maybe in Basirhat. That is okay. Economic Times uses a picture of WTC to describe pollution. That is okay. Allow me, since you brought it up, it was important for me to answer. Please, Sabha, please allow me to answer. As far as the BJP, no, there is no difference. For you, representation is representation. For me, it's separate. Anyway, that's sub judice in the court. Let the courts answer.
No, you should get the
Please allow me, Sabha, since you asked a question. As far as BJP is concerned, are you trying to say, allow me? Since you are targeting the BJP Sabha, allow me. Are you trying to say we don't have Muslim leaders? We don't have Mr. Naqvi. We don't have Ms. Najma Heptullah. We don't have such people. Shahjahan Hussain, a chief spokesperson. Allow me. There's nothing laughable. There's nothing laughable. No, we have many members, sir. Mr. Javed is a personal. I'm sorry, Mr. Javed is a personal member of my team.
You can count on the finger. You can count on the finger. How many MLAs, how many MPs your party
Please allow me. I want to come in on this.
There's a petition for Dahi Handi because children will fall from the pyramid.
Every minority, not only. So do we have a conversation?
In fact, let me
Dahi Handi dangerous for children on a pyramid. Allow me.
I'll tell you.
No. Dahi Handi is dangerous because children cannot go to the pyramid.
Jains are micro minorities. Do we have a conversation on that? How many? No, Jains are micro. Yeah, Jains are micro minorities. Are we sitting and discussing how many Jains? Are we sitting and discussing how many Jains? How many Syrian Christians? How many Parsis? How many any of these? Are we sitting and discussing that? We're not. So why are we focused only on one? Let me just make this quick point. Just quick point. Why are we not saying how many Jains, how many Syrian Christians, how many Parsis, how many Buddhists? Why aren't we getting into those minorities? Those are micro minorities. So those are micro minorities.
By the way, one-fifth population of Uttar Pradesh, one-fifth is Muslim, not one ticket. Not one ticket. Isn't that weird? I mean, are you saying that the Jains have a problem?
Is there any compulsion? Is there any compulsion?
No, there's no compulsion. There's no compulsion.
So don't you dividing.
I'll tell you what is going on. I'll tell you what is going on.
Aren't you actually pushing the narrative? Aren't you For you it's an issue. For you it's an issue that no Muslim was given a ticket. For you it's not an issue.
I don't care. Okay, I don't think many would have voted for the BJP.
Name one policy of this government which is anti any minority. One policy I challenge you. One policy of the BJP government. I challenge you to bring it to me right now. And I will bring it to your notice since you brought this up. Who's arguing these petitions? The Diwali petition is being argued by the junior of Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Who's arguing these petitions? Where were you when Kapil Sibal actually went on record to defend triple talaq?
Can I say something?
And the person who gave you interview on your channel Republic is the junior Abhishek Manu Singhvi. I've been seeing him for the past 10 years in the courtrooms, always running behind with Mr. Singhvi with his files. So now you know who's actually trying to build a narrative.
Can I say something?
Since you asked this question, I answered.
Can I say something?
What all of you are doing, it's fine. It's fine. You want to use half truths.
I would like to read out.
You want to use half
Sabha and Vikram, sorry, Vinod Sharma. There's another pamphlet called the New York Times. Pamphlet. This pamphlet.
It's the most respected newspaper in the United States. You call it a pamphlet.
I call it a pamphlet.
Tomorrow you call.
Someone can make that claim about a newspaper like the New York Times.
I call it.
Sorry, I mean there's just no way.
The government of India takes these newspapers very seriously. Because they present an image of India abroad, and we have to take them seriously and correct them if they are wrong.
Arnab, just to say, the New York Times is the paper that covered up for Harvey Weinstein. Let's just say that. Let's put that on record. Let's put that on record and talk about its credibility. Let's put that on record that they covered up for Harvey Weinstein a couple of years ago, which is now exploded everywhere.
So
let's put that on record also. Where anyone writes on credibility,
you are citing exceptions to the rule.
Okay, I call it a pamphlet.
Not the exceptions.
But it's a fact, sir.
To prove that Hindus are. Please understand.
Can I be allowed to complete my sentence? Vinod Sharma, don't rise in the defense of the New York Times.
I'm not rising in defense of New York Times. I'm just saying that you keep on citing exceptions to the rule.
You don't know what I'm citing.
No, you just not cited New York Times.
I have not cited anything.
This
not yet.
newspaper has done tremendous work.
Now you need to tell me. Now you need to understand. See, the problem is...
We need to lead our... We must learn our journalism from some of their work.
The problem, viewers, here is that I am in the course of this very calm discussion, destroying all the sources of journalistic patronage that the Americans and the other CIA establishment has built up. Now I'll tell you what the pamphlet called the New York Times says.
There's a whole book on it.
The New York Times.
I know that book.
The New York Times. The New York Times.
There should be a full book on Indian journalism as well.
The New York Times publishes. This is what happens. This is the level of intolerance, viewers.
You calling me intolerant because I'm making my point.
Can I? Tasneem Ramani, it's not fair. I'm making a very specific point.
How can you say that the whole journalistic community is doing the support of this?
I have declared my independence from the pseudo-secular media a long time back. Now let me say
where is this pseudo-secular media nowadays? Where is it? It is the media now represented by you, which is not secular.
Tasneem Rahmani, I am of a firm view that there does not need to be one narrow strain of thinking within journalism. I have a right to have my own thoughts. Having said that, let me tell you what they said. Article called Mr. Modi's perilous embrace of Hindu extremists.
Who has written this? Yeah?
New York Times.
Who's the byline?
Who's the writer? Who's the writer?
I don't know every Tom, Dick and Harry who writes in the New York Times.
No,
you may be very interested.
I am interested. I want to meet that person and correct his...
This is the substance of what they've written and I consider it an abuse.
Constantly.
I consider it an abuse of our country. Sir, will you stop this please? Sir, 1 second, sir.
I think the New York Times as a correspondent should be sent back to the United States. Ask the government to do it.
It is written since he was elected
then you'll have another
in 2014. Please, ma'am. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India has played a cagey game, appeasing his party's hardline Hindu base while promoting secular goals of development and economic growth. Now, I don't know what is the cagey game here.
What is cagey?
No, but
despite worrying, look at the language. Despite worrying signs that he was willing to humor Hindu extremists, Mr. Modi refrained from overtly approving violence against the nation's Muslim community.
But why you are focusing
the reason I'm focusing
I'm not there from the United
the reason I'm telling you this is the reason.
Why are you telling me this? Have I done this? Have I written this? Am I defending New York Times?
Vinod Sharma, Sabha, let me formulate the question even though it's difficult. The fact is these are the difficult questions which thank God I'm being asked here. We are saying here today that Hindus, in my view, these people, we should all stand up today and say, India is a land where Hindus are the most accommodating, being who, on seeing a madrasa, couldn't accommodate devotees, invited them to pray in pandals meant for the Ganesh Chaturthi in Mumbai. Will that story ever be told? Will it ever be told?
That's not the narrative.
Will it ever be told that when Sonu Nigam, will they ever be told that when Sonu Nigam said that I should not be forced to hear azans on loudspeakers, faced a fatwa? At that point of time, will the same group, and I am putting a clear and obvious and absolutely unquestioned accusation against this group here today. Which group? This group, which will say, let's have a, allow me, Ella, let me,
I'm not part of the,
I'm not putting you in a group.
You can, that's not fair.
I am saying here, there are people in India today who on the 24th of September will say, we should have a charity match to collect money for Rohingyas. I want to know whether they will have a charity match to support the victims of violence, Hindu victims of violence in Basirat in Bengal. So and if they don't,
you always create a binary.
If they don't, no, I'm being accused of creating a binary. If they won't, then I would say, why does their heart not bleed for all the Hindus who are victims of violence? And why don't you use this point to subvert the argument of Vinod Sharma, who began by unfortunately making the most unfortunate comment I have heard on the debate till date.
What is that?
That only minorities can be victims. That is an unacceptable argument.
I did not say.
Vinod Sharma, take back that argument.
Take back the argument. I said.
You also said
you said that.
By accident.
No, are you together?
You
I'm who's the co-anchor? Can I say something?
Advaita to Vinod Sharma, please. Let's debate. Advaita to Vinod Sharma.
If you say,
sir, come on. You know you want to have all the firecrackers on this debate.
Sir, please.
Advaita, listen to Advaita.
Why?
If you say you're agnostic,
if
you're agnostic, then how can you also be Hindu? Or are you thinking of Hindu culturally? In which sense, if you're using it in the cultural definition of the term, then I understand.
This discussion is not about me.
No, I'm just asking, sir.
This was a disclaimer.
Because you're making a claim on behalf of Hindus when you don't identify with them as a group, as a collective. You're making a claim on behalf of them and speaking for them and saying they're not under threat.
I'm not speaking for Hindus. You may be speaking for Hindus. I'm speaking as an Indian.
So
Please
you're making
understand.
a claim that they're not under threat. Let people who are part of that say that.
What are you talking? My heart bleeds for Rohingyas. How much do you know me? How much have you read me? Please understand. Don't do all this.
They were murdered. They were
This
raped.
is not.
They were thrown out in their own country.
No, would you
no
let me
PI
answer all
was
this?
filed. No NGO went to
After
the
your
court for
agenda
them.
has been
Their
fulfilled.
fundamental
File the
right to
PIL.
life was not questioned.
file the PIL.
So nobody
Do
showed
file
their
it.
helpless women,
Can I-
their children, their age-old
File the
parents.
PIL,
Nobody
madam.
showed
Why are
them.
the
People
lawyers
are
then?
talking
Nupur
about
is saying she
persecution
will
of
file the
Rohingyas
PIL.
in Myanmar. What about in
Go and
Kashmir
file all the
itself?
PIL.
Nobody
you a
uttered a
specific
word.
case.
What are you
there.
talking?
They were
Is this the subject of debate?
No.
Can I respond now?
Speak for their rights, you should file a
That's
suit.
subject.
why.
You should let me answer.
File the
Because we speak for
PIL.
their
You won't let
rights,
me
we should-
answer.
No,
Let me
just
You're not letting me answer.
everyone wants its rights. We should file
So
what
let
you
me
want
answer.
file.
Let
You
them
will
have their
only
say
file
for
for
10
the
minutes.
Rohingya
Wonderful.
Muslims.
Sama, let him.
You will only file petitions for the Rohingya Muslims, but not for anybody else.
File
You will
the
only
PIL,
file
you're a
the
lawyer.
allow me. You will only file the
File
PIL.
it.
And I'm sorry, you'll
You are a lawyer, file a petition.
You're not utter a word. You're not
Please,
utter a
can I-
word.
Both of
When
you
people
file.
like Sonu
Are
Nigam
the
and
lawyers
Suchitra
who are filing
Krishnamurthy
for
are
Rohingyas
cornered,
more
you will
competent
not
than you?
utter a word when actually, clearly, legally, only one
No, what
section
is-
of
Someone-
only one section of festivities are cornered. You'll not utter a word then. But when this issue is being debated, you'll say, where's the problem? Why don't you file? Why don't you file? We've been
I
speaking
don't-
for their rights forever
Because I
now.
think it's a
Why not? What
false
stops
issue.
you? Because you
You're a
only
lawyer,
want to come on
madam,
TV
I'm not.
and
You both
debate and
incompetent
support
lawyers, let me
Rohingya
ask.
Muslims. You
Both
don't want
of
to
you are
support
shouting
Hindus.
on a
So tell
panel.
me, who's more
Are you
prominent?
more- are you
secular?
incompetent
Are you
compared to
secular or
Prashant
or do
Bhushan
you
and all who
only
are
speak for
filing?
one
Are you?
section's
Are you?
rights? One
No, you're
section's
shout.
rights.
Go and file it.
No.
Prashant is putting where his money is. He's obviously
The
got good
victim
enough.
has filed it.
Please keep quiet.
Prashant?
You both
Who
file.
Prashant?
Prashant Bhushan has filed on the Rohingyas. I think he's the lawyer.
Yeah, he is the-
He is the lawyer. If I'm not
The
wrong.
Hindus
You go
are
and
being
file now.
targeted.
Go and
Why,
file.
I'll tell you.
Is he such a
No,
good
I think
lawyer?
only
He's
file
putting.
what
He's
I
having
feel is
released.
yes.
Okay.
Go and file.
Can I now?
Go and file.
Nupur, cooperate with me, Sabha.
Both of you
See,
are
I'll
lawyers.
tell you.
Don't shout in the
I,
studio.
Yet
Go
you
and do
don't
the
speak
work.
for
Sabha,
Hindus, speak for
Sabha,
Rohingyas.
Sabha.
That's the point.
Okay,
Don't
Nupur.
shout. Go and show your legal acumen.
No, I'm showing my legal acumen
Do
to you
it,
right
do
now.
it, madam,
Multiple
do it.
cases
The
are
topic
pending,
is
yet you
why
don't speak for
Hindus
them.
feel
You only
it
speak
is
for
a
Rohingya
soft
Muslims.
target.
Just a minute.
That's the
Just a
unfortunate
minute. If I-
dialogue.
Shout
And
in
that's
a
the
TV
reality.
studio. Go and do the work.
If I
We are
Do
doing
the
the
work,
work.
do the
That's
sincere
why, yeah,
work.
we are
Okay,
doing the work.
here's a proposition.
And that's why I'm also
Here's-
taking the stand in the court that Rohingyas don't belong here. I'm doing it on television channel also.
Now here's a
First
proposition.
priority is for the Indians.
Acharya,
First priority is
Acharya,
for the
wait.
Indians.
Acharya, wait. Acharya,
We don't
wait.
have a time for the
Acharya,
speaking for the
wait.
Kashmiri Pandits.
Acharya,
We
wait.
don't have a time to speak for
sir,
the
दोनों
Indian people
बैठिए,
who are
आप
being
इनसे कहिए
suffered.
ना।
We have a time.
Sir,
we
आप
have
इनसे
a
कह
sources.
दीजिए।
We have
मुझसे
India
मैं
is a
वकील
country
नहीं
where
हूँ।
limited sources are there.
Sir,
We
आप
have
इन
a
दोनों
time to
ladies
give the
से
things
कहिए
to
कि
the
आप
Vilas. We
please
don't
sir,
have a
Monica,
Monica,
Monica, wait. Monica,
Court
take it through me.
observation
Now to this
policy.
side, and Ela has not spoken even once. I'll tell you where my position is, and now I'll give you the time. And can we please now let them speak for a while? Let them explain, let them have an opportunity to debate, let them try and convince the audience on their side. Let none of them go away from the panel saying, like Vinod Sharma should not be given the opportunity to say, you didn't give me a chance to speak. But I began the debate by saying, that are the Hindus a soft target? And I am not technical in this. I'm saying, look at a man like Akbaruddin Owaisi. Ela. He mobilizes the Muslim community by implanting a sense of fear in their minds, and he is allowed to use and exploit public platforms. And he is not locked up, he is not put behind bars when he says, quote, when the enemy strikes, he doesn't ask which sect you belong to. Essentially, he is saying, we are all Muslims, the enemy is a Hindu, the enemy will strike you, Shia, Sunni, all Muslims come together to take on Hindus. He is openly provoking communal violence. And my frustration with people like Sabha on this issue is, I would have been the first person to support the Not In My Name lobby, But this Not In My Name lobby keeps shut about people like Akbaruddin Owaisi.
Well,
then I find them motivated. And that's when a lot of Hindus will say, I feel threatened. I feel threatened that a violent speaker like Akbaruddin Owaisi can make statements like this and get away. I feel threatened. This communal vile and venom is allowed to be thrown into our public discourse so that the Hindus in this country can feel threatened. People feel threatened. When even people feel threatened, Ela, you tell me, I'll tell you. Barkati gets away issuing a fatwa, offering 25 lakh rupees to anyone who cuts off the beard, shaves the head and blackens the face of our current Prime Minister. Now tell me, would the armchair not in my name lobby tolerate this attitude if it came from a Hindu? And if they didn't, then aren't the Hindus soft targets? Well, this hypocrisy at the source of the ongoing debate on whether Hindus are a soft target.
Please, let me speak. I haven't spoken. I've heard, a lot of you speaking and everything, and a few of you are very, respected journalists, and you're respected religious leaders, and you're respected social workers, and of course advocates. And I've heard all your arguments. The only thing I feel that we should do as a collective is that we should work towards bettering our country. So that means making sure that we work collectively towards keeping our water sources clean. I do puja almost every day. I use Ganga Jal, and whenever I go to the temple, when I put my hand out and they're putting Ganga Jal in my hand, and I drink that, and then I read in the papers that Ganga Jal has become so dirty now. That hurts me, and I'm wondering, why aren't we doing enough to protect our water sources and our air? I'm here only to talk about that. I was told that you're a serious secular and that you're a Christian and this and that. Let me just fix that. I am part Muslim, part Christian and part Hindu, and I think that the Hindu religion I've studied all of them. I'm 28 years old, and I just find that Hinduism is more scientific, and that's the reason why I find the most peace following the Hindu religion. My Nana was an Iyer Brahmin. He taught me a lot about Hinduism, okay, and I find peace in Hinduism, but I can't...
history books which have been taught to us for last 70 years?
Like what?
These history books tell us
that
Aurangzeb was a great saint. These history books
tell us... when I studied Indian books, I never read that.
Was a Pahari Chuha.
I don't know what you're talking about. I heard that Dara Shikoh was a saint. You heard Aurangzeb was a saint.
No, I
was an employee in the Mughal
court. That's not right.
They tell us Bhagat Singh was a terrorist. So till today, the years, we have been told you Aryans came from outside.
That's
land belongs to you. Nobody.
Madam, who has been doing all this? Why are you so helpless?
I agree with you.
Okay, one of you.
Don't tell me one.
Vinod Sharma. Let Vinod Sharma. Okay, Ila, Vinod Sharma is taking that. One second.
Can I?
Monica Arora, you speak to Vinod Sharma. He's taking that.
Can I?
Vinod Sharma, I'm yet to complete.
Would you please?
These history books were written by all these leftists. The so-called pseudo-secularists,
you have such derision for people, how can you debate?
They tried to hit at our pride for last 70 years. But they destroyed the alternative narrative.
I was educated in India.
Cases in the court.
Is this democracy?
We won these
division democracy?
cases.
You
want to talk about education? You want to talk about education?
Do you know?
Monica, you want to talk about
I know nothing about what you know.
Sabha, don't speak.
Dear lady, I know nothing of what you know.
What was it teaching?
If you have read...
Delhi University history course till 2016.
I'm listening to her.
They were teaching a course saying Ravan ki cheek se Sita paida hui. Delhi University history.
What are you talking about?
Ramanujan's article.
Which book have you read?
So we had to
Ramanujan's book you are talking about. 100 Ramayana.
Please.
रावण की चीख से सीता पैदा हुई.
बात तो सुन ले.
सीता और लक्ष्मण के अनैतिक संबंध थे. This was being taught in Delhi University course, sir.
What is your point?
We had to file a case in High Court. We went up to Supreme Court and got it removed, sir.
Now this is exasperating.
Sir, if
can I know answer?
Can I know answer? About any other religion, they would have been bloodshed on the streets.
Can I know answer?
Just because we tolerate.
Would you please?
That's why this thing continues,
Who is this we? We tolerate.
We belongs to the Hindus
Please,
who say
you
that
don't speak for the whole of
paths
Hindus.
lead to God.
You do not speak for the whole of Hindus. Nor do I speak for the whole of
Monica,
No, please.
I'm sorry, no, but which part do you
I am
know?
having a
You are
discussion
an
with her.
accidental
No,
Hindu.
you are a lawyer.
My question, I understand, but
You are
my
a
question
lawyer
is this.
and there are code
1 second,
decorum. There is a
Mr.
code
Sharma.
decorum.
You
Please follow it.
You declared in the beginning you are an accidental Hindu, so we ki baat to mat karo aap. My question directly to you is this.
She
Do
is
you
not
know
allowing.
this?
These people
Do you
don't allow
know-
to tell you.
Allow
Let
me.
her speak.
No, but no, she has not allowed me to
Mr.
talk to her.
Mr. Sharma,
What is
please
this?
allow me.
Arnab, you are not
Please allow
conducting
me.
it properly. It's not fair.
Don't
I
have a
can't be
he's
sitting here and
responding.
listening to
He's
others.
responding.
Do you know in
No, would you just
Moradabad,
ask this lady
in
who
one
just butted
village,
in? I mean, she can wait for a
please.
turn, no?
No, but you're not giving factual rebuttals,
No,
right?
but
My question
please,
simply
what is the
this.
factual? I didn't
Because
speak
you
a word.
talk about belonging. Who is belonging, not belonging? You
Please.
just declared you are an accidental Hindu.
Please.
What are you
So it's
belonging?
okay. You've
I
scored a
believe
point.
that's what
You scored a brownie point. Not as a lawyer.
He said it.
No, no.
He said it.
She scored a
He said
brownie
it.
point,
I'm
not
sorry,
as a lawyer. You scored a brownie point, not as a lawyer, by the stage of imagination.
Don't attribute it to me.
Are you having a declamation contest here?
He as in it's an entire group.
No, would you please ask the lady
He
who
as
has...
in the entire group went to the court. Why
would
does he
you
have
just-
such a
She wants to
problem?
make a point.
Will
After that,
challenge
I'll
No, you would not come to me. I know that.
After this,
No, but otherwise, then
challenging for
that's why I
defense.
leave your debate.
You have a problem if somebody petitions the
Don't allow
court.
other
Sabha,
sides
Sabha,
to speak.
she's wanting to speak.
You have
no?
a problem
You are both
if somebody
speaking.
petitions the court for their rights.
Okay, we have heard you. Okay, we have heard you.
Okay. So now listen,
heard you.
Ila will speak, then Vinod Sharma will speak, and you'll all listen to me as I moderate the
And there has
Ila,
to be
please.
some equity in distribution of time
Agreed.
in this
Shall I
debate.
leave?
Otherwise, it's a one-sided debate. I
Ila,
declare it,
carry
we
on.
have lost, they have won. Because they just spoke.
So
We couldn't
And we kept shouting.
give our rejoinders, you know.
Ila, please go on.
And then they say that...
Ila,
what
please
is
go
this?
on. Now you're not Ila, please go on.
Have
Please,
a heart.
please make your point.
First of all, about the textbooks, when
Everyone
I
listen.
studied in Indian, schools, and I never read that because as far as I read about Aurangzeb, was that he was a very religious guy, but he spent the country's money on buildings, and he actually emptied the coffers of. That's what I read. Okay, I can take out.
You are telling about Shah Jahan.
No, I read about Aurangzeb. This is what I read. I don't know because the books keep changing. Okay, I don't know. Now I just think that talking about books, they should be moderated and the truth should always remain the same. You can't change it according to government or who is in charge of the education ministry. The books should have what is considered to be the fact. And okay, so the Hindu scholars should write about what happened in the Hindu Mahabharata and Ramayana, and the Muslims should...
Ila, that's an ideal world. Now I'll tell you about the
but
reality out here. Can I please? So Vinod Sharma's turn to speak. Vinod Sharma's turn to speak. Am I making a very straightforward political? I am making a very straightforard political point to Vinod Sharma.
We will send you the
So will you stop, please? I am making a point to Vinod Sharma, please. It's difficult, no?
How many people are going to make a point to me and I would not be allowed to speak?
Vinod Sharma, my point was about, and you guys must have a focus.
You know, in a football field, you mark a player, na? Don't mark me like this here.
Vinod Sharma.
It's not fair.
Vinod Sharma, when even those...
Thank God you haven't broken my leg till now.
Even those like Azam Khan, who almost defended the terrorists
You bring in
of the
Azam
Paris
Khan,
attack.
OIC.
You need to understand what I'm saying. Azam Khan in 2015 said...
आप चुप रहे हैं, आप भी बहुत बोलते हैं.
Taslim, हमारी 2 minutes. Azam Khan in 2015 said history will decide who is a terrorist and who is not. Simple point is, why does Azam Khan get no backlash? Why does Akbaruddin Owaisi get no backlash? Why does Mamta Banerjee get no backlash? Why does Barkati get no backlash? Why does the quote-unquote liberal lobby conveniently hide in the closet when it is anything done by Muslims? But when a majority community member does the same thing, there is a sudden demand of political correctness. There is a not in my name protest, rightly so. I say aggressively demand rights of the minority. But to aggressively disregard the basic rights of the majority is in my view, completely not secular. Vinod Sharma, please defend.
No, please. I know that now it's very clear that which side you are.
I'm on the side of the truth.
No, the truth, your relative truth, which can be contested.
Sure.
From
an extreme left prism, everything looks right.
No, I know, whatever.
You'll always be looking right.
No, if you think that you are right and others are wrong, then there is no question of a debate.
I don't know, sir. I find people who support
no,
Yaqub wrong.
you see, you may be
I find people who support Afzal Guru wrong.
You may be the repository of all wisdom, but may I tell you one thing, that if there has been the longest heated argument on live television between any journalist and any such person that you mentioned, Owaisi, it has been between me and Owaisi. But you will not mention it. You know why? Because you have selected a panel where just one Hindu and others are from the community they want to attack. The very choice of the panelist, the very choice of a panelist is to misguide the viewers, your viewers. That you know, this point of view is represented by this community and that point of view is represented by. No, please. No, you may not object to that, but this is the purpose. You may say something different.
I'm sorry, but I'm not called Sabha because she's a Muslim.
When you make Tasleem Rahmani argue with my gentleman friend here, you are conveying a message. I understand these tactics. I'm too smart for you. Arnab Goswami. Please. You may have. I am not saying that.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that.
Listen to you.
You can't make religion the be-all and end-all of anyone's
No, I'm not making it. They are making it for the television viewers.
Listen, but
please understand. Whenever there is an issue relating to the sensitivities of Hindus, they will get a guy with a long beard on the television screen to convey a message that look, all Muslims are similar.
Yeah,
you know, you are creating a stereotype. This stereotype is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. And my singular purpose to participate in this debate is to question the stereotype. Not all Muslims are bad. Like not all Hindus are bad. I am here as an Indian. I am defending my country and my society. And I rate,
just a minute.
Sir, please, you are not into the
point, but when you started,
he has the right to countering it.
You use the word contempt of court. You use the
Listen,
you frightened us with the contempt of court.
I did not frighten you.
Whenever Hindu goes against the...
You are not the guy who will be frightened.
No. How can you say...
You don't look like a frightened rabbit or anything. You don't.
No.
So
even the Gandhi said this thing. Hindus are basically Hindus.
When I am building my argument, you interrupt.
When the judgment was there against the terrorists.
No, I am building because I am telling that what message is sought to be conveyed. Please understand.
You are using, sir.
Sir, you ask your question. Don't give me a lecture, please. Don't give me a lecture. Ask your question.
Judgment is there.
How much can I listen to him? You know? My ears are full.
It has been decided by the Supreme Court that terrorist is terrorist. And after, in the last rituals of the terrorists, around more than 50,000 people participates.
No, who is this? What is he talking?
You know? You don't know?
What are you talking about? You're talking about Yaqub Menon. Please understand.
Why?
What is this?
Sabha will reply.
I really want to know, in this whole narrative,
if there is something small thing,
I want to know.
I am using a small word against the tracker, and you are threatening us, you are threatening us.
If you are saying it is a Hindu, it is judgment is against Hindus, I think we are in contempt of court because we are imputing motive.
No, we are not imputing.
We should not impute motive. I was trying to forewarn you, don't do that. And a lawyer is sitting here.
In this whole narrative,
she said we can question the judgment, of course. But we can't impute motive.
I am giving you an open opinion.
And for you to suggest that this lawyer is representing this petition, a lawyer can do anything. A lawyer is a professional.
The judgment was wrong.
Just identity.
You can have a referendum, you can have a vote.
I have enough of this.
No.
Contempt is going to
Don't speak over each other, please. Thank you.
Nobody's
Sabha will
selling
speak up.
crackers in Delhi.
Nupur, make your point to Sabha. Now the point is, now anything. So, no, 1 second. Just one. Monica, wait. Monica, wait. Sabha, and I want, because you felt you've not been given enough time, I'm engaging directly with you. My point to you, the fourth time I'm asking, is the issue of double standards, which exist in India. These double standards emanate from the same liberal lobby, quote-unquote liberal lobby, which will be out on the streets. If a Hindu makes an atrocious comment, but if it is a Muslim, the ideas of these protests don't even solidify in their minds. So and therefore, I believe that the credibility of this lobby would grow if they would take on, for example, a Syed Shah Ataf Ali Qadri, who says that I will place a 10 lakh rupee bounty
I think everybody's
on the shaving of, no, there was no not in my name protest.
Why should there be a not in
Why
my
should
name?
they
Why
not?
not?
Why
should there be a specific, no,
I'll tell you
okay,
why.
I want to answer.
No, you ask a question, you can't answer the question. You ask me a question, why should there be a not in my name protest?
Have another protest.
Because
they did a protest, didn't it, over some RSS
my
cadre?
question
They
is,
did a
my
protest.
question is,
there was second protest.
Sabha, don't be so self-assured on this one. Don't be so self-assured on this one, because the question to you is slightly deeper than what you're thinking. Why I'm saying Barkati, for example, why am I speaking about these people? Because if a Muslim cleric like Barkati gets away, right, and I'm not saying he represents all Muslims, absolutely not, but he cannot chest thump about reading out funeral prayers for Osama bin Laden and Yaqub Memon. If a Hindu reads prayers for a Hindu terrorist, then I can assure you the same jhola carrying lobby will be the first to take him to the cleaners. In this case, however, the simple question, and I would want to hear from you, and the people this Sunday morning would want to hear, why can you go and have funeral prayers for Osama bin Laden and Yaqub Memon attended by thousands of people? But if a Hindu were to start carrying out eulogy ceremonies and supporting and openly building support in mass numbers for a Hindu terrorist, right? Then I'm telling you the entire Jhola Wala circuit would be out on the street.
So your whole, if you give me the time,
no, why don't they do that?
No,
so that's why you said why should we have a not in my name protest? For this very reason.
I'm not organizing the what in my name.
But you're a very active member.
No, I have attended. That is Sabha Dewan.
You're an active. No, there's nothing. It's your right.
It's your right. Like you can sit there and pronounce judgment on anybody. I also participate.
No.
Answer for your information, lady. Aurangzeb is not the example to be cited. Dara Shikoh is the example to be cited. You are deliberately citing Aurangzeb.
Sabha.
It is tendentious argument. You are practicing.
In the history book, how many chapters are there on Aurangzeb and how many chapters are there? How many lines are there on the Dara Shikoh?
And deceit and distrust.
How many lines are there on the Dara Shikoh? There is long chapter in the class 10th, 9th.
Arey Dara Shikoh pe padho. Aurangzeb ko mat padho.
Why the government made the law?
Dara Shikoh ka naam kabhi liya aap logon ne?
We all go to the classes.
आपका इतिहास औरंगजेब से शुरू होता है वहाँ खत्म हो जाता है
शाहजहां पढ़ा जाता दारा शिकोह नहीं पढ़ा
आपका
जाता
इतिहास औरंगजेब से शुरू होता है और वही खत्म हो जाता है
क्यों पढ़ाया जा रहा है
कभी औरंगजेब आपने कंपेयर किया है
I made a very substantial I made a very substantial
Vinod objects to other people's thinking.
This book has a chapter on Dara Shikoh.
It has a chapter that mentioned it.
No, you don't have. Who allowed you?
Acharya, I'm requesting.
Tell us something about Dara Shikoh. I would like to know something about Dara Shikoh from you. Do you know anything about Dara Shikoh? Please tell me.
Vinod Sharma.
We all know about the Dara Shikoh.
Stop. Dara Shikoh pe humko
Children are
padhao.
not being read these things.
Dara Shikoh pe padhao humko.
I'm requesting you, sir. Why don't
By the
you
way,
listen
आप
to me?
लोग इतने ignorant हैं.
The point
They're
being
so
made here
ignorant.
was-
No, let
the
me get
point-
it.
No.
I will tell you,
Sabha.
Meenakshi
Sabha.
Lekhi
Sabha.
got the road name change.
Sabha.
The BJP
Sabha.
औरंगजेब बोलेंगे
इतने आप लोग मतलब it is complete illiteracy.
Sabha, answer my question. Acharya,
What is the
please stop.
question?
My question which you
So,
listen to.
Arnab-
I think it is revolting that in India, we should
I
have
agree
anyone
it's
get
very
away
revolting.
holding funeral prayers for Osama bin Laden.
Who
and
held
it?
I don't know what you. I mean, I don't know. I thought he died.
I'll tell you who. I'll tell you who. I'll tell you who. If I were to say today, that's
सच में ये पता.
Can I request?
You know, every time I try to speak.
The question is not who, the question is why. The question is why, not who.
अच्छा
Why
डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प जी
a
कहूँ तो
prayer
ठीक है
meeting for
अच्छा
people
यार
like this?
विनोद तुम भी सब सवाल सभा के लिए आते हैं, but Vinod is replying. You are doing it repeatedly.
In each case,
I am attacked and then you punch in and give a reply.
Okay, so let's not fight on this.
No, I'm just pointing it out.
In each case, I have asked
Attack, as you say, is because I'm a
I have asked
Muslim.
these cases.
So then let me field it.
I have
Since
asked
you
these
have noted
questions.
that,
I have asked these
it's all
questions.
happening because I'm a Muslim.
Sabha, I am asking this question. I am asking this question to you, and it's a very simple question. Please understand. See, I am asking for parity.
I'm asking for parity
I feel
from
that
you.
the same anger, the same anger that one feels when a Hindu tomorrow violates the basic ethics, propriety of public discourse should also be felt if a Muslim does it. So, and the second point I want to make, last point I'm making to you, and then I want a full substantial reply.
Without others
we must also understand how Pakistan benefits from this. It is true that in February 2009, Pakistan wrote to India and tried to frame the narrative that Colonel Shrikant Purohit was involved in 26/11 and the murder of Hemant Karkare was because Karkare was probing Malegaon. I would feel a strong element of anger if anybody contributed to the theory and enabled Pakistan to blame some Hindu conspiracy for the 26/11 attacks. The reason I'm saying this repeatedly is because I feel today if we don't become conscious of the fact that while trying to say that, you know, there is a fascist, intolerant majority in the country, we may be playing into the hands of the enemy, which is Pakistan.
Now, first of all, Arnab, to get back to what this,
I made very substantial points, I expect a reply to them.
First of all, we all breathe the same air. The blood that I shed is the same, we all have the same blood. Let's remember that when we talk about pollution, and let's not divide up everything like this. I entirely agree with you that I would be the first person to write against prayers for terrorists, and I was not even aware what you're referring to Osama bin Laden.
You are not aware of anything
genuine ignorance about that.
You don't know about Barkati, you don't know about Qadri, you don't know about
Osama bin Laden.
No, I'm not even aware. But
you are not living in India, basically.
Okay, let me reply.
But what I'm most curious about, Arnab,
I think you have been in various debates on that.
There was a time. Are you saying, because your focus is repeatedly on Owaisi and Azam Khan and all, there are so many intemperate people who are MPs, who are lynchers, who are Bajrang Dalis, who are saying horrendous things about women of all types, who are saying, I'm not even going to get into the name. Please let me finish. I'm not even going to get into the names, who issue threats to people. There is a whole list of them. There was a time when you used to, in your earlier thing, carry on about Yogi Adityanath. Now, of course, it's all very polite.
I have been the first person in an interview to question him, by the way. You are very ill-informed.
No, you were very deferential towards him.
You were very deferential, not in the past.
I'm very sorry.
You were so deferential.
I'm very sorry now. You know what, Vinod Sharma, answer the question. Now,
no, you were very deferential towards him. I'm making an observation.
As deferential as you are towards Pakistan. Please continue.
I am deferential.
I'm sorry that you are deferential towards Pakistan.
I am good relations between India and Pakistan.
What is your motive? What is your motive?
Is that in 1992,
don't have a little power,
I was posted there when some people brought down the mosque.
It should be Vinod and Arnab. I give up. I'm saying
Sabha is replying. Sabha.
In all fairness, I actually agree that there has been this tendency. I have written about it, that there is this whole occupation of a certain kind of Muslim male has created a feeling of siege. It has created that pandering to them all the time. I have written about it extensively. Now, I believe you should, instead of saying that one-sided, you should also explore this. You are a leading television anchor. Focus on the other side also, Arnab. Instead of just the,
I therefore can ask you a follow-up question.
Yeah, please do.
Taslim Ramani...
I'm today because I'm the only Muslim remain here in this case. I'm the only Muslim remain here.
What does that mean?
I'm the most persecuted minority in this country. So I have to be silent over here. Because nobody will allow. And if I try to speak every side of the, even my own parents say that because you are a Muslim, you shall not speak.
Taslim Ramani, Taslim Ramani as part of the discussion, as part of the discussion,
Maybe your own co-panelist.
Mr. Taslim Ramani, I think Nupur, we must think today that 6 days back, why did this debate on Diwali firecrackers start?
You started it.
Just a minute, please.
You started it by saying they were Chinese. And now you've declared that we are anti-national.
You
said they were Chinese.
Sabha.
You were misled.
And we supported you.
I know Ila was on the program. The first day we debated it. Can we please calm down? Please?
And I'm sure you had a chat with Yogi Adityanath.
And don't make supercilious comment. Now, Ila was on the program and I said, you remember, that I'm for the Supreme Court verdict. And I don't think that anyone in the name of Hinduism would say, let's choke the children.
Yeah.
Right? No. And the next question, I asked some leading Muslim clerics and voices that, would you therefore also equally say, and I rightly asked the question.
So I have an answer to that.
Sabha, please. I said, would you rightly say, in your equivalent judgment, would you say that therefore it was also wrong to say that there is no noise pollution when the Muslim, azans are read out from loudspeakers? And would you protest against it? Was there any protest when Hindus were told in Kolkata by Mamata Banerjee that you cannot carry out Durga Ma immersions on a particular day? Why were there no protests about it? In that context today, right? When I asked that question, there was a stunned silence from the other side. Now Tasneem Rahmani, I now complete. I now complete. No. Therefore, we are coming. Therefore, we are coming to a.
That same debate, I said the same thing.
So
that animal agriculture is not sustainable, and we have to phase it out as fast as possible.
But in that context,
across the world, not just in India.
If one thinks about it, why did the debate spark 6 days back? The debate sparked 6 days back because there was a pent-up sentiment that had been built. I'm saying a pent-up sentiment was built over the last few days. And I'm telling you, there was so much anger over Mamata Banerjee's attempts at communalizing the situation during Durga Puja in Bengal. Now we ask, should we ask these questions today? We should therefore ask, why does Ramachandra Guha speak about the rising of Hindu nationalism? How it's affected the secular fabric of the country, but he makes no comments when it comes to political killings in Kerala. Secondly, we must, because these are the reigning deities. The question is, Tasneem Rahmani, the most unfair.
He's a public intellectual, isn't he? Surely we can discuss public intellectuals. Surely we can, sir. We can discuss public intellectuals and their comments and their editorials.
Watching this program, please grant an interview to my friend Arnab Goswami.
The problem with Vinod Sharma is that the problem with Vinod Sharma and his ilk is that there are certain reigning deities. You are not supposed to ask the reigning deities. Another reigning deity.
You are also a reigning deity for a section of the people.
Another reigning deity.
You are as much of a reigning deity.
Another reigning deity.
People worship you. Who believe in your thought. They worship you.
But he's not an eminence.
Can I ask Tasneem Rahmani a question?
He's not an eminence. He's just a reigning deity. He just has the numbers.
I must be allowed to ask you a question. I say today, Tasneem Rahmani, to you that it is unfair if Romila Thapar ever said nationalism does not allow the Hindu in India to claim primacy and privilege as a citizen. Whoever said it did. But why is she silent about Basirat? Why is she silent about Akbaruddin Owaisi? Why is the secularism tag so selectively used?
The way that you are representing Asaduddin Owaisi, Akbaruddin Owaisi, Azam Khan and so many. We never endorse, and the Muslims of India particularly, and the minorities and the general people of the India does not endorse them. And the latest example is the Nanded local body election yesterday concluded. Number two, the West Bengal people, everybody, even me, we have criticized Mamata Banerjee on this channel itself. Go and see. We have criticized Mamata Banerjee for that. And in this cracker issue, we said this is not a religious issue, and any religion whatsoever, Muslim, Hindu, Azan, Baqra Eid, whatever, go to
how can you say this is not a religious issue? When Diwali is there, Hindus are being affected, sentiments are being affected.
Let me complete.
How can you say this is not a religious issue?
You are not listening me.
No, you are
When
the judgment comes,
why you are not so much tolerant to listen?
We are celebrating
Even Azan, Qurbani, Muharram, and we said crackers must be banned on each and every occasion. Be it the Shabbarat, or the
you are saying this is not a religious issue.
No. We said on specific scientific grounds there must be an analysis of the quantum.
What is the scientific ground? What is the scientific
environmental disaster?
So let's talk about
September, you lift the ban. On 9th October, you come back with the ban. And now only till the 1st of November. Why? After 1st November, do we not have other religious festivals? Allow me, or Shadis, or Barats, or Christmas, or New Year. The point is the duration, and it is questionable. And I'm sorry, please allow me. There was a petition. Mr. Rahmani, do you have the patience to listen to me?
Why you are referring it at all? Everybody said it.
No, please
That's
listen to me.
why I said that.
अरे Mr. Rahmani, सुन लो. आप कहाँ से persecuted minority कह रहे हो? अपने आप को मेरी बात ही नहीं सुन रहे. एक बात तो सुन लो, आप बोले जा रहे हो.
ज़्यादा जोर से बोलेंगे, persecution तो महसूस हो ही रहा है.
आपसे सवाल पूछ रही हूँ. All the petitions have been accepted in the Supreme Court, sir. There was a petition to ban animal slaughter, please, during Bakr Eid. The court recused itself. Why? Because it's a religious issue. I'm not even questioning the court. They may have taken their own decision. My question simply is that there are so many festivals, Jalikatta, Kambala, your Holi, your Diwali, your Ram Navami, Hanuman Jayanti, Durga Visarjan, Ganesh Chaturthi, and so on and so forth. But in other festivals, we can't do it. I'm sorry. This is the actual problem and the point here. And second, there's only one thing I want to say, and this was for Ila initially, but I have a question. You asked, who are these people who are doing it? You remember that Kant village district in Muradabad? There was a temple and there was a mosque together in the village. The the Muslims complained, why was the loudspeaker of only the temple removed? This is the actual question, and this is the debate today.
Okay,
why
so
was only the temple loudspeaker removed?
Who's hundreds? No, who wants to reply? I can't have three people reply.
And same with
So 1 minute. Can you decide either in succession? Either in succession.
Speaking is hardly a debate.
Sabha.
So, you know, when this whole debate got flagged off, Arnab, I saw your show with Chetan Bhagat actually. That's when, and I tweeted there that I've celebrated Diwali my whole life, let's not communalize it. I was assaulted on social media, who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? And by various trolls saying, who are you? You cannot be part of this. Go to hell. And they started to send me bloody images of slaughter. Now, so I want to immediately get to the issue of Qurbanis. I believe there are civic rules which regulate where a Qurbani, it cannot happen in your backyard of a Qurbani, and they need to be implemented with greater zeal, because you cannot have, I agree. I want to get to the issue of Qurbani, and Nupur, about sacrifice on, Arnab would know this, on Diwali night, which is Kali Puja night in Bengal, many goats at the Kali Badi are also slaughtered.
Yes, and that's
so let me just finish. So I'm saying, so let's not bring in vegetarianism and all of this into it. I believe that Qurbani needs to be regulated. Regulations. Let me finish.
I'm limiting it to petitions in the court only,
no,
Sabha. I'm not even getting into
you.
that.
I'm making a point that Qurbani needs to be...
Okay, point is understood. Now my question is, I go to another point here. And nobody addressed the question which I raised. Can we together come together and say that the portrayal of Hindu fascism growing in India is completely incorrect? And Vinod Sharma, even if it were to suit the narrative of some people who are unhappy with Modi becoming Prime Minister.
Where is Modi coming in here?
Who are feeling denied.
That we together, which includes you, Taslim Rahmani, Sabha, Ila, you, me, everyone, all of us.
Why are you bringing the Prime Minister in this debate?
No, I'll tell you. No. You must understand the point here is because, you see, the narrative goes like this. Hindu nationalists are gaining power in India and silencing enemies across the way. So, basically, you portray India as a nation where the minorities are shamed and attacked while the majority is a mass brutalizer.
These are
I need you to understand that when these pamphlets say, and I'm telling you, the pamphlet called The Guardian, sacred angel of a lot of pseudo-secular people.
Which is your favorite newspaper, may I ask?
Pamphlet called The Guardian.
Which paper do you like?
Which paper do you like?
You want me to reply? You want me to reply? I think nobody reads newspapers anymore. Now the question is.
That's a good one. But you are reading newspapers.
No. I'm quoting the pamphlets. The pamphlet says, quote unquote, Hindu extremists go unpunished, leading to a culture in which lynching, mob violence, and hate crimes are increasingly, horrifyingly widespread. I feel fascism. Why are we quiet, and why is the now not in my name protest not saying that first of all Hindus are not fascists and India is not a fascist country?
Why don't you start?
Can I say one thing?
Run by Hindus.
Can I
That is the misrepresentation of facts is what we must debate right now. Let one of them debate this. Advaita Kala is on the debate. Advaita on the misrepresentation of facts as far as this is concerned. Speak up. I want one not in my name protest led by Sabha on it. One. We will all participate. That you are vilifying the entire Hindu community of this country by creating this narrative. India is a home for persecuted communities like Judaism, Zoroastrianism, and Tibetan Buddhism.
For what? For what? Because you are saying
the
so on
entire
a TV
portrayal,
show.
the entire portrayal.
Again, New York Times and Guardian.
I'm so sorry. Sabha.
That's the protest I want for.
Sabha.
No, that's the protest I want right now.
You promise?
Threat to the Prime Minister, the bounty on his head, that's the protest that we want against.
I am asking a very...
I want to...
if you characterize
Acharya, one point I want to make here. And I think when you don't pretend not to see. Because Vinod Sharma, you can wake up a person who's sleeping, but you can't wake up a person who's pretending to be asleep. My view.
Who's
my view. And
your eyes are wide shut.
My view is that there is no better country in the world.
Film.
May I complete? there is no better secular country in the world for Muslims than India.
Absolutely.
And proof of this,
Tasneem
Is it a secular?
Sir,
I'm telling you what is happening. At the root level, what is happening? Have you ever heard?
अरे इन्होंने पॉजिटिव बात कही, आप नेगेटिव बात कर रहे हैं। अरे आपका सवाल पॉजिटिव है और ये नेगेटिव एलिमेंट इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं।
I'm telling you an incident.
It started so quickly, Arnab.
अरे भाई उन्होंने सही बात कही।
Immediately became about Christians and the Sikhs and the reality
You have
is
to understand this thing. I'm giving you an example. Example, there was a person who was living in the middle.
अरे भाई आप लोगों के पास इतनी कहानियां हैं कि हम क्या कहें?
And the Muslims of the area said that this electricity is for Muslims. Hindus can't get it.
अरे please, I don't know, get the proof for that.
This is the incident of Delhi. You have to understand this thing. This is the basic rule of the country nowadays.
Let there be a sanity in this
Tasneem Rahmani.
अरे सर अब आप ऐसे हाथ बढ़ाकर मत बोलिए।
They are on a higher level.
I need my substantial question
You are not understanding this.
अरे मैं समझ रहा हूँ, आपको सही से समझ गया हूँ।
How can you say this?
आपको बिल्कुल सही से समझ गया
You are not understanding. How can you say
आपने वो खबर पढ़ी?
एकदम समझ गया हूँ।
Acharya, wait. Acharya, please.
आपने खबर पढ़ी कि मुसलमान मंगनयान
and viewers will understand on the Sunday.
Try to first make this India as a secular country. In the paper, this is a secular country, but this is not.
आपने वो खबर पढ़ी?
We all are defending our.
I have been to Shanti, so I know who was made.
Whenever the issues are being raised, whenever the Hindus are being properly targeted, you know, I'm telling you.
I want to laugh. Hindus are in danger.
Hindus are being targeted.
Okay.
If you take a presentation, if you take a presentation,
No, you're not understanding. You are not understanding the issue at all, Sabha. Acharya, I'm requesting you. Acharya, no. Acharya, take a break. Acharya, I'm requesting you to stop.
Crackers are being used in 220 countries. And you are targeting
you got to stop.
No.
You got to stop.
आप तो शांत,
You know, you
आचार्य तो
understand one
शांत हो
thing.
जाइए।
It is Sabha and Vinod Sharma and Tasneem Rahmani. We are on a very important point. I can argue this with you. Debate it logically. Please.
Do it logically.
The logical fact is, the point of argument is, Hindus are a soft target. Now, nobody in the world, sir, please, nobody in the world, Sabha, nobody, sir, 1 minute.
Only the BJP is protecting Hindus. That is the message you want to send.
Listen,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have written an open letter to Azam Khan in my newspaper. I have written an open letter to Azam Khan.
You don't speak so.
And there were television shows on that. You never did a television show.
Where were you when I've seen the REC papers. Where were you when actually electricity was distributed by the Samajwadi Party government in Moradabad, all over Uttar Pradesh? I'm sorry, madam, I've seen it myself. According to the religion, you know, this ghetto is for Muslims. Give them so much electricity for so many hours. This is a Hindu-based community.
You've already been imposed once.
I'm sorry. To just live in denial. Sorry, Sabha, that is not
Acharya, I'm requesting you now, please. You know, it's not. Allow me, Sabha, listen. Sabha, listen here.
Just by sitting in an AC room, you can't do this.
Acharya,
go on a root level, see what is happening, how the mentality of the people are doing. Basically, just by sitting, you are not going. Just go on a root level. Just so called activist people are just doing the work, and they are just coming to
Acharya, you want to anchor the debate, then you come and sit here.
Don't put your eggs in all eggs in one basket.
The others don't even speak up, so that is the problem. There is enough to complain about every government.
Vinod Sharma, don't do this. Sabha, don't do this, please. Sabha, Advaita, don't do this, please. Don't do this, please. Nupur and Monica, don't do this, please. Because if you don't let me moderate the debate, you will not be heard. I am making a genuine request to this panel. Please understand. I am not on a point. Sabha, understand one thing. If you want to go to the core of the issue, you will debate seriously. This debate is not about whether Hindus are insecure. Of course they are not. So that's a foolish interpretation of it. Are you saying Hindus are insecure? No. But what I'm saying is, the debate is whether Hindus are a soft target. When you say that India is an unsafe place for Muslims, then you're spreading a lie. Because Muslims in India, according to the 2011 census, comprise 14.4% of India's population, 174 million people, Whereas in Pakistan, the Hindu minorities have seen a decline from 22% to 1.2%. So I don't know who is a fascist nation.
You want to be Pakistan.
It's not a question of what.
Sabha, you are not understanding the argument. Sabha, you are not
understanding. It was a promise that was made to the minorities at the time of partition, and it was a promise all of you decided.
Give us a better yardstick. You give us a better yardstick, better country to emulate. Pakistan में ऐसा हो गया इसलिए.
So we are proud, all of us.
Monica Arora and Advaita. Advaita, now please, now listen to me. Listen to me. As far as India only is concerned, in which fascist country?
India to Pakistan?
In which fascist country?
Because we had the same
because when I will destroy, when I will systematically destroy, and Sabha, if you are able to, then debate with me. Don't speak over me. The argument is simple here, Sabha. Understand. I object, and I want you to object to the constant classification by the in your name, whatever you call it, community, that India is a fascist country run by Hindus, because in which other country, allegedly ruled by Hindu forces, does APJ Abdul Kalam, a Muslim, become the president of India based on the nomination of the so-called Hindu fascist party? In which other country?
In which he was a great nationalist despite being a Muslim.
In which other?
You would not mention to that.
In which other country? In which other country? Allow me. In which?
The culture minister of this country said he was a great nationalist despite being a Muslim. How do you justify?
You're both speaking over each other. Who would be heard?
Did Mr. Mahesh Sharma say this or not?
Three can't speak. Vinod Sharma.
Dear lady, please
don't speak, sir.
Your admiration for Aurangzeb, I'm really overwhelmed by that. And now your admiration. Would you just tell me, is it proper for a minister to say that a former president was a great man despite being a Muslim?
You were still accidental Hindu at that time.
And may I say one thing? Please understand. Have you wept over the killing of that folk singer in Rajasthan? Because he gave a bad performance. Did you ever stop in your tracks and think? Did you ever stop in your tracks and think when all the accused in the Akshardham case were acquitted by the court the very day this government was sworn in 2014? Did you ever wept on Pehlu Khan? Have you ever wept
So
on
what about the
innocent Muslims
narrative
being
for the
killed?
last 70
Please
years?
understand.
Sharma, are you going to
The narrative for the last 70 years. So
has
why
to
you
be
never
mourned.
raised your voice?
Every Indian has to be
So why you
mourned.
never said Hindu
Stop
was
this
never a
binary of
terrorist?
Hindus and Muslims.
Why you always
because it
said
suits you.
Hindu was
Because it suits you.
Monica
You
Arora.
are saying Hindus,
Monica Arora.
Muslims,
Monica Arora,
Hindus,
wait.
Muslims. Why don't you talk about Indians?
Vinod
What
Why
Sharma.
your
is that?
selective outrage,
Vinod
sir?
Sharma, I request.
Talk about Indians.
So you
Vinod
want to
Sharma.
be quiet on
Talk
certain
about India and
topics,
Indians.
only on certain topics, sir.
Every single Indian, regardless of his identity, religious identity, is a child of this country. He's a citizen of this country. Don't try to pit Muslims against Hindus and Hindus against Muslims. And stop this propaganda of hate.
Sir, are you going to listen to anyone else, please, sir?
No, I cannot
Thank
listen
you.
to this kind of a thing.
Yet,
Nopur.
yet
Nopur.
you go-
Nopur is speaking. Thank you. Nopur.
Yet you go for not in my name protests.
Nopur.
Where there's
I
no-
believe
Nopur.
go
Please
anywhere
allow
you want.
me.
Sir, the
There's
question,
a right
sir,
to
there are
protest,
three.
right to
you
movement,
specifically,
right to
Mr.
expression in
Sharma.
this country.
Mr. Sharma, don't
me.
overreact.
As a lawyer, you
Don't
should
overreact.
understand.
Don't
Please
overreact.
allow me.
Don't overreact. Let Sabha and others
those
speak. Yeah.
people on the map that they put up had no space for those Hindus lynched.
Oh,
had no space. One
let her.
second.
You are a great
One
protector of
second.
Hindus.
Why don't you let
Kerala.
someone else
Of
talk?
course, I'm going to
Political
bring it
party.
up.
Come on.
Please, Mr.
Come
Sharma,
on.
I was quiet
I
when you
am
were speaking.
for every
Mr. Sharma,
Mr.
this is
Sharma,
wrong.
there are
This is
three-
absolute injustice.
Mr. Sharma, there are three people.
You want to dilute
Mr. Sharma,
the people of India.
Mr. Sharma, please, let others speak, please.
You will not speak up for the lynchings in Kerala. You
one
will not
second, ma'am.
speak up for the lynchings in
Arey.
West Bengal. You will not speak up for the lynchings in
Talk about-
Karnataka.
Sir, 1
You will
minute.
not
Sabha is
speak
on the
up
debate.
for-
Sabha.
You will not even speak up
Calm
for
down.
Lieutenant
We are speaking
Let others speak. 1 minute,
there
please.
on that map. And one specific question. Since the beginning I've been asking, many people have come and gone calling this government fascist, yet on this debate itself you've not been able to show me one single policy of this government which is fascist, and that is what actually exposes you, because the reality
And
is
Sabha will
you
reply to
go
this.
for selective outrage
Sabha will
according to the religion of the person, and then
Sabha
you
will
blame
reply.
us for doing Hindu and Muslim. I'm sorry, I'm all for secularism. But you are the ones who've been doing Hindu-Muslim all along. Even your outrages, your protests, anything and everything, they are all religious. In fact, they're dominated by religion, by the religion of the people. No, this is the actual charge. You can't be living in denial.
2000.
I refuse to edify the charge.
On the day of inception of this present government, Mr. Ashok Singhal, he's no more within us, he said that after 800 years, the Hindu government has been installed. And since then...
I think...
So what's your point?
Love jihad, Gau Raksha,
where is the policy?
everything has started. Everything has started.
The person is having you are not raising any voice. The person in the Kerala there was a person, Congress person, who was taking the head of the car in his hand, and you are not raising any voice against him. These things are happening. The people are basically...
No, 1 minute. Wait, Monica, wait.
It was by Kerala High Court, not by any rightist organization. Kerala High Court said there are instances well funded, well organized, in which popular front.
I think the narrative...
That was the report of the chairman. That was the report.
They have not rejected. Not at all. The case is pending.
That was the report of 2006.
The speaker on his legs, he's on his legs, please.
The question here is,
I think
the question is
Nupur is
a very valid question
Nupur
asked by
asking what is the
that since there has been a
policy?
perennial stereotyping by the Not In My Name protest of this government,
also by this program, the stereotyping has been perpetrated by this program as well.
I think it is entirely fair that for the fourth time on the program, she should ask Sabha, specifically saying, Sabha, since you are part of a group that stereotypes the government as a Hindu fascist government, give one example of an actual deed by the government which represents its bias towards the Hindu community. And I think you should give that example to her right now.
If you will allow me to speak.
Have you ever used the word fascist in your write-ups?
No,
I have never used the word fascist or a bhakt in any of my write-ups, even on Facebook.
In fact,
and I don't need your thanks because I know my civility. I know the civility of discourse.
There are many others who are not civil.
So you go and lock horns with them now. And some of your supporters are less than civil.
Sabha is replying.
I'm not calling them uncivil. That is civility of debate.
You picked the wrong person.
I call them less than civil. She says uncivil. The civility of debate rests with me.
Advaita is replying.
Sabha is replying to you, Nupur. Either I'm a stand-in for an entire body, because if you're talking about Sabha Naqvi, this individual, then I can tell you.
No, you shouldn't be attacking her like this.
Talking about a whole universe, and then I can tell you how much I engage with the present regime, probably more than most people sitting here. Not Nupur. And I will give you an advance copy of my book. You will see it.
Now please answer the question. Give her a specific reply.
Now, so Nupur, I'll give you a serious reply. Of course, there's no grand legislation. And the government itself has been the cadre which has acted in ways which would be worrying in any society. In the lynchings, in the attack. And when you see the articulation of somebody like Adityanath Yogi, when you see some of the things about even something very small-minded, and it doesn't even matter to Muslims that much कि ताज महल को उस pamphlet में नहीं डालो, उसके बाद ये करो.
How can you say? How can you put this delegation?
आप बोलिए फिर मैं चुप हो जाती हूँ.
He never used the word.
Listen, both of you, Monica, Advaita is replying.
Son, Masterji's, his legs were chopped
off. What has that got to do with?
Just because he left Marxism and came towards nationalism. His legs were chopped off.
Master Jai Kishan.
What are you talking about? Are we discussing
the same subject?
If you're talking about
she can say anything which comes to her mind.
Elements. Did you ever comment on
Advaita on your right. Advaita and Sabha, please.
Not that my name was triggered by the killing of a young boy called Junaid.
Absolutely.
That is what happened.
He was not killed on religious
Advaita is replying. Calm down, Monica and Acharya. Please.
are using the wrong word, wrong incident in this scenario. That was a...
How can you pin Junaid's murder on the BJP?
That was just an incident.
It has nothing to do with the BJP.
You just said lynching.
Okay. Get your facts straight. Nupur, I know you are always, I know you have a problem with facts. Nupur, I know. I'll give you the, on this program, Nupur, you just reel off falsehoods. Others have opinions I disagree with. You have a habit of reeling out falsehoods as facts. I will give you a list.
Wait, Monica Arora.
You have this problem.
One falsehood, please. One falsehood.
Yeah, okay, challenge. Monica and Nupur.
That electricity.
Monica, what is the falsehood she has uttered?
Completely
disproven. I can show you the REC.
Look, I'm not going to shout with you. It was proven to be fake. Just as your photographs were proven to be fake. I mean, you are one of the people who puts out fake information, Nupur. You have repeatedly been caught out. Yeah, you have.
You are wrong.
No, wait.
One second.
Let her reply.
You know, I have read the REC papers. I have read the letter from the Member of Parliament in Moradabad to the REC Centre asking why only a particular community. One second. Why only a particular location and area in the village is not being electrified? Then it was revealed. Please, Sabha. Please.
Can I ask a counter question to Sabha? Sabha, you made a very good point. You said that the Not in My Name protests were triggered
by
Junaid's killing.
Yeah.
Very good point. I would also like to tell you that a lot of people from the CPM participated in the Not in My Name protest. I would like to ask you, and the whole nation would want to know.
You know, I'm not Sabha Diwan. I'm Sabha Naqvi.
Sabha Naqvi, I'm asking you.
Sabha Diwan is the one who's did that.
I don't even know Sabha Diwan for your kind information. I know that there is a Not in My Name protest. But we would want to know from you that your concern for Junaid is justified and you have a right to speak for it. Any innocent citizen lynch should be spoken about. But we'd like to know that do you feel there should have been a Not in My Name protest when E. Rajesh was lynched in cold blood in Kerala
I think there was
in June
a protest.
this year? There was no Not in My Name protest. And I genuinely, one second, I genuinely want to know, since the case of all the other examples you said, I never heard of it. So I'm not asking you to have a football match like you have done for Rohingyas. But I don't think it would have taken any effort.
Who's
if, for example,
just said it.
Not as a flourish. Not as a flourish. You can find out who did the football match. It was a student group with
you will pick up any odd event and you.
I am asking Sabha a very straightforward question, Sabha, and it would be people are watching and they want to see your reply on it.
They are watching. You should be conscious.
They want to see.
Do you want to give a background music to
Arnab, if I could just
the question is simple and Advaita and Sabha, you can take it forward after this.
We'll do it very politely.
We'll do politely.
Sabha, tell me very simply. Was there a Not in My Name protest when DSP Ayub Pandit was lynched? Was
there was. Should I show you the picture of mine?
Was there a
I'll show you a picture of mine.
Not in My Name protest for E. Rajesh?
I'll show you the picture. Just wait. I'll show you the picture.
E. Rajesh, did you do a Not in My Name?
You don't have facts and you keep on saying things.
On E. Rajesh, who was RSS worker.
Just see.
It is ruling party
it was the killing against the killing of Pandit.
Okay, did you?
And I participated in that. What are you talking? What are you talking? You just
take it out.
You know.
I remember.
Did you? Sabha.
घोड़े की टांग तोड़ दो और गोली मार दो. This is your approach.
Ruling party cadre.
1 second, please. I'm asking the question to Sabha. After that, Advaita.
No, you take back your words that there was no protest after the killing of Pandit. There was a protest. I participated in that, and I think Sabha was also there. I saw her there.
Yeah, so I'm not getting a chance to say very much.
Monica, wait. Sabha, on the specific question of E. Rajesh, because it was topical, and it was RSS worker, and he had been lynched in cold blood. I think it was on the 1st or 2nd of June, and I think it is extremely important. I want to know whether there was a Not in My Name protest for E. Rajesh.
No, there wasn't.
Why?
And there should not be.
Why should?
Because when cadres of political parties, be they CPM or be they RSS, when they want to go and slug it out, that's different from a young boy.
So you are justifying a killing.
No, I'm not.
You are actually justifying a lynching. I find it so unfortunate that you justified a lynching on the program. How could you do that? I am sorry that you are justifying a lynching. That is crossing.
Let me come in here. Ruling party cadre Police Association elections backed by the CPM. You have cadre who are police
You want
officers
to not
there.
why don't
There are
you do
police
your own
officers who are part
protest,
of cadre. What kind of justice are you expecting? And you forget Kerala. Forget Kerala.
Advaita is speaking.
Suresh was killed in October last year. In July,
why should
Sharad
they
was
be
killed.
not in my name? Make a protest.
Both RSS.
Make all
Who
three
has
of you do a
condemned it?
protest.
Who has condemned it? No one has condemned it. I will
She's making a good point.
No one has condemned it. In Karnataka, nobody has killed it. There have been over 20 people.
So you are upset that Junaid, you are upset, now let me understand, therefore you and Advaita are upset that Junaid triggered this kind of
I am not even speaking
what
of
are you talking
Junaid.
about?
Please understand.
I think you
Please
better
understand.
calm
I am speaking
after Muhammad Aklaq's lynching, after all of this lynching, you are upset.
Violence.
You are
I am
upset
speaking
that
of
some people got upset.
state-sponsored violence where the ruling party, I am talking about a bloody legacy
So
of
after
power for over 30 years
Do that
by
with
the
the
CPM
left.
in Kerala. I am speaking of that legacy of power,
I thought
of
we were
bloody
talking about
power,
not
and
in
why
my
it has
name.
not been questioned till
We are
today.
talking about
Why
not
has
in
it
my
not
name.
been questioned?
Do
I am
it now.
asking
You're
that.
doing it.
I am
Arnab
doing
does
it
it every night.
constantly.
Time
But I know
does
what
it
I've gone
every
through to
night.
bring it
You
to
all
light.
do it every
I know
night.
exactly the kind of threats I've gone through, the smear campaigns
Advaita,
I've
let us
gone through to bring it to light. I've seen how the ecosystem has
do
turned
it,
against me.
Advaita.
And I
Very
continue
good.
to do it. I do not need anybody's prompting. But I question the lack of questioning a bloody legacy of power.
I will question
and I will
your
question that
objection
repeatedly
to
on
well
every
spoken.
platform I get. Because
Okay.
that
Hang
is
on,
the
hang on.
hypocrisy
So
and the
I am
truth
touched.
that in the
I am
salons
touched.
of Lutyens
Tell
Delhi,
me one
you
thing.
play
Where do you stay?
human
Where do
rights
you stay?
activists.
Speak up.
And then
Where do you stay?
What is Lutyens Delhi? Where do you stay?
It's a metaphor.
Are you
It's a
from
metaphor.
somewhere, the backwaters of
It's
India?
a metaphor.
Where are you from?
Why are you
I'm
attacking
speaking
a
of the
person?
salons
No,
of
may I
Lutyens
say,
of
what
Delhi
is this Lutyens Delhi?
and
Let us speak.
For God's sake.
enclaves of
What is
power
this? What is
that have
Lutyens
set the
Delhi?
agenda.
Let us speak.
And that
Let
is
us
all.
speak. Don't heckle.
And who have for
What is
decades,
Lutyens Delhi,
and for
lady?
decades
What
have
is Lutyens
ignored
Delhi?
the brutal
Please define
violence.
it to me.
For decades, sir,
Advaita,
for
Kala,
decades,
please
the
define
kind of
Lutyens
violence
Delhi to me.
that you shiver of when you hear an
Nobody is shivering here. Nobody is
in
shivering
Syria, but
here.
you don't
Nobody
when it's in
shivers.
Aleppo,
If you can
Kerala.
fight,
When
others
it's
can
Aleppo,
also fight
Kerala, you
for
don't
their
say a
rights,
word.
for
But
their
if it's
beliefs.
Aleppo,
And
Syria,
please
you will
understand,
discuss it.
you
I am
are-
questioning that
because this
hypocrisy.
self-righteous indignation,
I am talking about
your
that
self-righteous
hypocrisy.
indignation does not impress anyone.
It pours
It is
forth.
not impressing me at
It
least.
comes
It
forth.
is so self-righteous
It comes
that it
forth
doesn't impress me at all.
of the lies
Because you,
and the silence, sir.
because you will
The
not
lies
raise
and
a
the
voice
silence.
against vigilantism.
Oh,
You will not raise.
please read me. I
I
have
will
done
read
that.
you.
Thank you.
Then
Please read
here
me.
you have not
I
said a
am
word.
on record.
No, then
I
balance
am on
your,
record.
balance
I
your
have done that,
statements.
sir. When you name
Balance your
names,
statements.
I am
Then
compelled to
balance your
name names.
statements.
When you sit here and you
When you
name
balance
names
your
of violence,
statements,
sir,
Advaita Kala,
I am
please balance your
compelled to
statements.
name
You
names
come
as
across,
well.
you come
You
across
come
as
name-
purely religious right-wing.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Really?
And if you are,
Really?
it is so unfortunate at your age.
I'm so sorry that you have made assumptions about me,
I
sir.
have not. You have made assumptions about others.
I have not made any
assumptions
assumptions
about
at
us.
all.
You have
I
made
have neither
assumptions.
pointed
This is-
fingers,
This whole
neither have I
program
said
is
taken
based on
names.
assumptions.
I have not
And
made
on
any
exaggeration.
assumptions. I have
You know,
not
you
made.
pick up one odd
I
event
speak of a
and
collective.
magnify it
No,
I
as if
speak
it's a
of a
trend.
collective.
Vinod Sharma.
I'm speaking of a
Arnab Goswami
collective,
is
sir.
doing it.
I'm
Vinod
speaking
Sharma.
of a
You're
collective.
Vinod
rising
Sharma.
to the bait.
I'm
So
calling-
willingly.
Mr.
I am
Vinod Sharma.
speaking of a
You have
collective.
risen to the bait so willingly.
What are you so upset about
If I
She has her own views.
Advaita, let me
if I
understand.
identify,
One
Very
second,
good.
Sabha.
You are very,
Vinod,
I'm very
see,
proud
I
of you.
identify.
Great. What have you got against
No,
you?
no,
You
nobody.
went for Junaid.
I'm saying
No,
collective.
no, no. Very
Let
good.
her speak.
I'm
Let-
applauding
Junaid
you.
at all.
Excellent.
Why?
What's your problem if I
Why are you
protest?
behaving
What is
like
your
this?
problem with
What's your
Junaid?
problem with the banner?
I'm not at all for speaking of Junaid at all.
No, what's your
I am
problem?
not speaking of
Then
Junaid.
what
I
is
feel-
your
I
problem?
Not in my name.
You are doing
You're so
your-
you're so
I'm speaking
upset
about
by
the
the protest.
I'm speaking about the collective.
Can I make an
I've
observation?
made this
Advaita,
very clear.
Advaita, can I make an observation? As I am getting to this point in the debate, I want to make a small observation at this point, and Sabha will understand what I am observing. What I'd like to observe, what I'd like to observe here is that I find it very, very interesting, to say the least, that the moment there is a counter narrative, the people who speak for
Observe, you're
tolerance
inciting, not observing.
have no tolerance for the other view.
Arey,
Personal attacks.
you light the fuse, you don't observe.
Absolutely.
You light
Where is
the
your
fuse.
tolerance to her view?
No, why should they are they tolerant over
Where is your tolerance?
No, you are not tolerant to our views.
I heard
You
you
are questioning her and me that why do you go and make your not in my name protest.
Okay, at the very end of the debate.
My right to protest. And I will protest. I will protest.
Okay.
Against the killing of every Indian, regardless of Hindu or a Muslim or a Sikh or a Isai. I will stand by you if you are being wrong, regardless of the fact that we don't agree on many things.
Closing the debate with 1 minute to this side and 1 minute to the other. First on my right, 1 minute to close on why you still feel at the end of the debate there is a perception that Hindus are soft targets.
That perception you are imposing on the people who are watching it.
That has been demonstrated.
There is no such perception.
I'm letting you counter.
And nobody is going to take it.
Who's
by each and every If you go to the society and watch it at the ground,
you have not been able to actually name one single policy of the government which you like to call fascist. I'm sorry.
Silence is acquiescence. Silence is policy. Silence is acquiescence. You people are quiet. You people are quiet. You are quiet because you are complicit.
Don't talk about the government.
You are quiet because you are complicit. It proves your complicity.
You were quiet.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about her.
You feel so bad because there is no
At the end, 1 minute. 1 minute to both sides. Who's leading the debate? Advaita for the last 1 minute on this side. Advaita, last 1 minute, then we'll come to you.
Very quickly, I was frankly disappointed that it came down to ad hominem, you know, because this is what happens. Every time you air a certain counter narrative, it becomes you're a bigot, you're communal.
Right.
How are you going to lance a boil, sir, unless you don't air it? How are you going to fix it if you don't talk about it? If you speak of some sort of majoritarianism, and I will give you that benefit, there may very well be, but that is to a certain extent because you are not addressing these issues, you are not acknowledging victimhood all across the board.
Okay,
please go ahead and do that. And as
last
for my
1
own
minute,
personal
who
point,
speaks on this
I
side?
have written about power vigilantism. I've written about any
one
kind
sentence
of...
and then you close. One sentence, but only
I've
one
personally
sentence.
written about all these things. I'd be happy to share links with you. So when you attack me personally, sir, for being some kind of fundamentalist, you just did. Sir, you just did. Sir, you just did. I refer to a collective. I do not make personal attacks.
Using the word fascist, which I have never used in my life.
I refer to collectives.
I've never used the word
I
but
refer
in my
to
life.
collectives, not to personal
I know how to debate in a civil way. I never meant to be anything personal.
So you made a personal attack on me.
But you were too self-righteous.
Please allow me. Please permit me to clarify. Please permit me to clarify, sir. I am speaking. I'm speaking of facts. They may not be facts that you like, but they are facts. So please counter me with facts. Don't counter me with abuse that I'm bigoted or I'm fundamentalist. Sir, I do take it as abuse, sir. I do take it as abuse, sir. It's not civility.
I did not do that.
It's not civility,
What are you imputing?
Okay, I did not like that, sir.
Where is the personal attack?
Please, you said you're sounding like a right-wing.
You're being said your self-righteous indignation.
Fundamentalist.
It is overwhelming. That's what I said.
You said fundamentalist, sir.
No,
you said fundamentalist.
No, I didn't know. No.
Yes, you did.
No, as a religious
okay, when you watch it,
I call you religious right.
When you watch it,
I call you religious right, never fundamentalist.
When you watch it,
I do not use the word fundamentalist also.
It's surprising you call me religious right because I sat here saying my premise is not faith-based. It has to do with an intellectual position.
Anyway, then the point is taken.
It has to do
I stand corrected.
with decolonizing the mind.
Your position.
Sabha is closed.
Position also. I'm not a pseudo-secularist.
I came in with no religious position on this.
I am an Indian nationalist, not a Hindu nationalist. Neither I am a cultural nationalist, not a military nationalist, nor an economic nationalist. I am an Indian nationalist.
Sabha is closing that. Sabha is closing the debate.
I think Advaita has every right to her views without a personal attack, made or not, as does Vinod, my old friend Vinod Mehta, who before the program, I'm so sorry, Vinod Sharma. I'm so sorry, Vinod. I'm so sorry. But to Arnab Goswami, let me say this, Arnab, without the firecrackers, without the ban, you managed a pretty explosive show. So happy Diwali to you, sir.
Happy Diwali to you.
Happy Diwali. That's all.
Happy Diwali.
You are the biggest bomb that has to be diffused. This is the biggest bomb that has to be diffused in the interest of a peaceful Diwali.
I've been doing it since childhood.
Okay, now, therefore, today we leave this in the arena of public opinion. We've had a good debate. I would say at the very end, India is a secular country. It's not a fascist country. It certainly is not a Hindu fascist country. And we need to be a little clear that when we begin to criticize for political reasons, then eventually we end up vilifying the country globally. That's my perspective. I thank you all. Happy Diwali to everyone in advance. I thank you for joining me on this edition of the Sunday Debate. Thank you very much.
Happy Diwali.
Crackers or not. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.